Once upon a time, in a bustling village, there lived two men, Mr. Gold, the rich man, and Mr. Stone, the poor man. They lived in the same village, but had very different lives. Mr. Gold owned a ground house with shiny windows and a beautiful garden filled with colorful flowers. He wore fancy clothes and had a big shiny car. People admired him for his wealth, but he was often busy counting his money and didn't have much time for friends. On the other hand, Mr. Stone lived in a small, cozy cottage made of wood. His home was simple, but it was filled with love and laughter. He wore plain clothes and rode a bicycle to get around. Though he didn't have much money, he always had a smile on his face and loved to help others. One sunny day, the village announced a big festival. Everyone was excited. Mr. Gold planned to throw the biggest party with delicious food, music, and games. He spent a lot of money to make sure everyone noticed how rich he was. Mr. Stone, however, didn't have enough money to throw a big party. Instead, he decided to bake some delicious bread and share it with his neighbors. He invited everyone to his little cottage for a warm meal and good company. On the day of the festival, people flocked to Mr. Gold's grand party. There were bright lights and loud music, but many felt lost in the crowd. They ate fancy food but didn't talk much to each other. Meanwhile, at Mr. Stone's cottage, laughter filled the air. Neighbors gathered around the table, sharing stories and enjoying the warm bread. They played games and sang songs together. Everyone felt happy and connected. As the sun set, Mr. Gold looked out from his grand house and saw the lights in Mr. Stone's cottage. He heard the laughter and music and felt a pang of loneliness. He realized that despite all his wealth, he didn't have what mattered most: friendship and joy. The next day, Mr. Gold visited Mr. Stone's cottage. He brought some of his fancy food and said, "Can I join your gathering? I want to learn how to have fun like you do." Mr. Stone smiled warmly and said, "Of course, everyone is welcome here." They shared food, laughter, and stories together. From that day on, Mr. Gold learned that true wealth isn't just about money. It's about the friendship we build and the joy we share with others. And Mr. Stone showed him that sometimes the simplest things bring the greatest happiness. And so, in the little village, the rich man and the poor man became good friends, teaching everyone that love and kindness are worth more than gold. I hope you enjoyed this story. Now it's time to take a look at some word definitions from it. The first word, bustling. Bustling means busy or full of energy and noisy activity. For instance, the market was bustling with shoppers buying fruits and vegetables. Next word, grand. Grand means large, magnificent. For example, the grand castle stood on the hill looking beautiful in the sunlight. The next one, cozy. Cozy means comfortable. This word can be used for place or even for meals. For example, cozy room, cozy dinner. Cozy dinner means warm and inviting dinner. And also it can be used for objects. For example, cozy chair in this sentence. I love sitting on my cozy chair with a blanket and a book. Announced. Announced means to tell people something important. For example, the teacher will announce the winner of the contest. The next one, plain clothes. Plain clothes means simple and inexpensive clothes. For instance, Mr. Stone wore plain clothes. The next word, flock. When we say flock to somewhere, it means to go to a place in a large group. For instance, many people flock to the beach in summer to enjoy the sun. The next one, fancy. Fancy means special, expensive, not plain. For example, fancy clothes or fancy food. The next word, meanwhile. Meanwhile means at the same time. For instance, I was cooking dinner, meanwhile my sister was setting the table. It means at the same time my sister was setting the table. Pang of loneliness. It means a sudden feeling of sadness because you are alone. After my friends left, I felt a pang of loneliness in quiet room. Thank you, my love, and bye.